Welcome to a short reflection by Sebastian Mathud on Canto VIII of Dante's Purgatorio. Dante begins his description of the two guardian angels who descend into the flowering valley by addressing us directly. "Reader," he says, "if you seek truth, sharpen your eyes, for here the veil of allegory thins, and may be pierced by any man who tries." What ensues, then, is akin to a staged theatrical event. Everyone in the valley becomes, in the words of Augusto Boal, spect-actors in the drama of the driving of the snake from the garden by the guardian angels whose blunted swords indicate that they are there to defend the gathered souls. When the snake appears, it sees the angels and flees, the allegory being that God's presence in the persons of the angels will save the faith community. As in the book of Habakkuk, if one doesn't see the vision, don't fret. Wait for it, and it will come. God will surely deliver us from all evil. That's the message that's being reinforced night after night in the flowering valley. Judge Nino, whom Dante meets in the valley, asks Dante to convey word back to his daughter, Giovanna, to say prayers for his soul, since her mother Beatrice, not the Beatrice who has dominated our tale so far, but Nino's former wife, seems to no longer care for him, considering how quickly she remarried after he died. Dante characterizes him as having righteous indignation, that considered anger a good man reaches in reason and may rightly feel. This isn't to say that the supernatural covenant of marriage continues after death. On the contrary, Christ said that in heaven people do not marry nor are taken in marriage. Rather, the point being made is, to paraphrase Tuesdays with Maury, that death ends a life, not a relationship. Judge Nino's wife didn't commit wrong in remarrying, but in forgetting the relationship she rightfully ought to continue having with her dead husband. Her remarriage caused her to be remiss in her responsibilities to pray for his soul, and that's a problem for him, given his current state. Dante, upon meeting Conrad Malaspina, praises the renown of his household, that far and wide people know it to be just, righteous, and generous. His entire speech is one of praise, beginning, "Oh, I have never been near the land you held, but is there in all Europe a hamlet ignorant of the name you bear? The glories of your noble house proclaim its lords abroad, proclaim the lands that bear them, and he who does not know them knows their fame." Upon hearing this, Conrad tells Dante it won't be long before he experiences that generosity firsthand. Ciardi notes that Dante is paying a debt of gratitude for the honor and hospitality with which the Malaspina household received him after his exile from Florence. "Whatever you did for one of these least brothers of mine, you did for me," Christ says in Matthew 28:40. Ultimately, the relationships we have with one another set the tone for the relationships we have with God. And having made our way this far up the mountain, we've moved into an understanding of right relationship with others, the first principle of which is to recognize that one ought to exist, and that it entails the responsibility to care for those with whom we are in relationship. That recognition alone should save us from the ice of the ninth circle, from those who recognize no value in the human relationships they had, and are frozen for all time in isolation. We who do understand that our debts are really spiritual will seek to build up community rather than tear it down, and will pursue the relationships we have with others within that community even when supernatural bonds dissolve naturally.